Present.
Sonia Falcón,
Here.
Ricardo Pedraza, absent. Lisanne McPine,
Present.
Alma Caso,
Here.
Jose Delgado,
Present.
Dr. Annabelle Palomo, absent. Ernesto Sepúlveda,
Present.
Johnny Rodriguez, absent.
All right, thank you so much. May I go ahead and hear a motion for excuse any of the absent board members, and were they contacted, when they were contacted, please make sure that, if they did call in, so we can make sure and we note that as well. So I hear a motion to go and excuse the absent board members.
So did they call in?
No, ma'am.
So none of the ones that were absent called in?
No.
Okay, so.
If nobody called in, then it's up to the board to go ahead and see if you want to go ahead and excuse our board members for this meeting.
I make a motion.
There's a motion on the floor to excuse the board members. There's a second.
Second.
There is a second by Ms. Sonia Falcón. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Absent members are excused. Next, we'll go on to the organizational business, which is the approval of minutes for November 3rd, 2020. These were provided to you prior to this meeting. Does anybody have any questions or any remarks on these minutes? If no questions or no remarks on this minutes, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as presented prior to this meeting?
Take a motion.
There's a motion by Mr. Jose Delgado. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Ms. Sonia Falcón. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes are passed for November 3rd, 2020. We go on consideration and any action on the treasury report or account summary period ending 11/30/2020.
So if you look on the yellow tab, I guess it would be easier if we kind of put numbers on the pages, like through the whole packet, instead of just the tabs. So we got a report, and this is as of 11:30 from the city. We get this directly from Carla. And so if you look on there, if there's any questions, really the only, we've only had mostly expenses because of the new director and the current assistant, and then now we have a new marketing director that I believe Lisa will talk about. But there really hasn't been any fundraising to be able to put into the kitty. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to go on.
Do we have any questions on the actual budget? This is on this budget. This is on any incoming money. This is on the actual budget that's being presented by Carla. Any questions, any remarks? If there's no questions or any remarks, may I hear a motion to go ahead and accept the treasurer's report or account summary period ending 11/30/2020? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion by Ms. Lisanne McAlpine. Is there a second?
I second.
There's a second, Ms. Alma Caso. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We have the treasury report, account summary period ending in 11/30/2020 being passed. Next, we'll go on to discuss and review the Pharr Business Survey Phase 2, English and Spanish, followed by discussion and review of COVID-19 response support programs 2020. Ms. Lisa?
Yes, thank you. Lisa Salinas for the record, and I'm having them updated to the right PowerPoint. It has the wrong one right now. But we did deploy our survey, and I sent y'all out the questions that we were deploying, and that was sent out on 11/23. Our second survey was sent out as of 11:30, but some of our immediate kind of information that we're getting is we sent out to 1,000 businesses. From the 1,500 initially, 500 were contractors that were doing work in the city of Pharr, and we have a 21% open rate, but only 10% have taken the survey as of right now. So we're hoping to get a little bit more traction in the next few days. We're understanding that maybe with Thanksgiving and the holidays, people took some time off. So hopefully here in the next few days, they're going to get it done with the with the reminder to get it done. And then after that, we're gonna scrub the list and go ahead and send out, either it be with the cases of COVID going out, maybe not sending out the brigade to go out to businesses, but setting up a call center and starting to call these businesses to get the information that we need so that we can set up some more, get those surveys completed. But it did take some time to identify the questions, translate the questions into Spanish, create the survey, and then put it into a database that we were able to send out.
So one of the questions on this was, number 12, is are you aware that the Greater Pharr Chamber of Commerce now has a 6-month free membership trial, and would you be interested in signing up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did we approve to do a 6-month membership? I don't remember, but maybe I wasn't here or something, but.
I
I
wasn't,
think we talked about it last meeting. There was talk about us doing like I think that was a proposal, right?
Was that something that we approved, or,
Yes, the board voted on it last meeting,
okay.
and it's in the meetings, the minutes that are attached, and they were emailed out.
And how many people have responded to that?
So we've had 7 people take advantage, or 7 businesses take advantage of it since we last spoke, since it launched on the 15th. And we have had 10% take the survey, which is roughly about 21 businesses.
So out of the 1,500 businesses?
So it's 1,000 because 500 of those were contractors.
Oh, okay, so we have only 1,000 companies, and out of those 1,000, how many have responded?
10%?
10%.
Okay, so only 100.
No, that have opened it. So there's been a 21% open rate. And there's
Okay,
been
so
a
give me a number, Lisa. How many people have answered the survey?
21.
21 people.
21 businesses, yes.
Okay, so only 21 businesses have responded out of 1,000. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So out of those 21, how many answered question 12 that they wanted to take advantage of that?
We haven't gone into the details yet of the survey. We're waiting to get more respondents, and so we haven't dug into the details
Okay,
yet.
so we haven't reviewed any of the answers to on
No,
the
ma'am.
21.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
and we're just making it clear that when we do have these people that are answering that number 12, that there's only a certain time period. Because, I mean, if you tell somebody 6 months and I join 6 months from now, you're not going to go to 6 months. So we just need to clarify in there that it's going to end on, I don't know, March 12 or whatever that day is.
April
That-
30th.
Yeah, that way we can make sure that, everybody's on the same boat, that yes, there's a trial period for this program, and there is a time limit. So once that is done, then we can reapproach everybody who has utilized those, and we're basically empowering them to join. So that is something that's important.
Can you tell us what it is that you're going to do to try and get more than the 21 respondents out of the 1,000?
Absolutely. So we sent out a reminder email for them to send out to respond to the survey. If they don't respond, we're going to start with a call center to start making some phone calls.
I mean, you say we, who's we?
The team, and then use the resources on behalf of the city. Right now, city staff is they're visiting residents they're working on a program for internet, and the city is working on a program to provide internet for citizens. And so we'll be utilizing that same work staff to fulfill our survey.
And how do we know that the ones working on the internet are the same ones that are at these 1,000?
So, no, the same employees. that
Yes,
are
I
go-
understand that, but how do we know that the employees that are going to be working on this internet project, I'm sure have a list of people they need to contact, right? Yes?
They're visiting residents, not business owners.
Okay, so then they're not going to be able to piggyback on getting the answers to our survey, right?
Once they're done with the survey for the internet, they'll be focused on the businesses.
Yes.
So how long is that going to be?
I am unsure how long the city survey is taking.
And so how long did they give you to do this project? I guess that's,
I have given a commitment to have it done by the end of the month.
that seems kind of short, right? Kind of, if they're still going out there visiting residents to do their project, and we've only gotten 21 responses, I'm just trying to figure out, is that enough time for you to get the rest of the responses and not have them available to help you?
I think at this point, Sonia, it's a moving target, and I may be working with the city to figure out a date when we can get it fulfilled, but I'm hoping to get it here by the end of the year, if not right into 2021.
Okay, and has the city, Annalee, have you and Wiley given her a deadline? Because you're the guys asking for this project, right?
It's Hilda and Ms.
Oh,
Rigney.
I'm sorry, I couldn't receive. And then
Oh.
with the masks, it's even worse. Sorry, girls.
I'm not sure, Ms. Falcone, if they have given her a deadline
Okay.
or not.
Can you
But I
check
will follow
to
up.
see if there is a deadline? Because I don't want us to fall behind, and if we don't have all the resources, you know, so far, I think that the results have been very slow, right? I think I agree with her saying everybody's busy with the pandemic and the holidays, right? And so it's gonna require us to do more outreach, and I just think that, you know, 3 people is not gonna do it, right? And so if they want it by the end of the year, then they need to allocate more people to help our team get it done.
Absolutely, I will
Okay.
follow up with them.
Okay, if you can let us, Lisa know, and she can let the board know.
So the second follow-up was just sent yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. That's the one, okay.
So when you sent the first one, you just sent out an email, and from that email, you got 21 responses.
Yes.
Okay.
So as y'all can recall, and this is going to go into our next topic, but as y'all can recall, we had just, when we were sitting here in our last meeting, Mr. Wiley spoke about some money, potential money that was available to our businesses for the potential of internet and so forth, and to go work on a program that sparked this survey to see how many people really needed internet. So what happened, and they're switching the slides right now, my office went back, visited with a vendor for T-Mobile and the Small Business Development Corporation from UTRGV to figure out a plan to give resources to these small businesses. And there were parameters that had to be put into place. So we worked on a program that would have been the COVID response program. And they're bringing it up right now. Hold on. It's coming up, I promise. So the money was music to my ears. There could be a potential of like $200 and something thousand, right? So we did. We went and did the footwork, visited with UTRGV, looked at the resources, looked at some different options. So we put together a program, and you'll see it in your binder, even though it's not here. So the program really was to create a scalable program to assist and relieve local business members, create resources to small businesses unaware of how to start. And we spoke about it last time. Sonia, I think you brought up some great ideas of how do small businesses engage with social media when they don't know social media, they don't know where to start. How do we provide the resources to these small mom and pops? So we went back, we really thought about how do we elevate the brand of our small businesses of Pharr, how do we elevate the chamber's involvement? So we created some goals. Please go. So we put together a plan that would have cost each member about $1,500, and this is all that it would have included: 180 days of free membership, a partnership with the Small Business Development Corporation. Each local business would have received 1 year of a paid hotspot with T-Mobile, feature stories created by our media department that they could have deployed on their social media. Each business member would have received a Pharr is Open window cling, and each of y'all have a copy so y'all could see it on your desk. And then we reached out to a PR firm to set up social media on all 4 platforms of Facebook, Instagram, Yelp, Google My Business. Thank you, Lisanne, for that, because you gave us that idea. Local logo digitation, and that would have all cost us $1,550. And in the appendix, you'll see everything that we put together. We put together artwork and so forth. Visited with our CDBG department here internally because they had to go pitch it to HUD. I found out this morning that it was declined. So we're going to try to create a workaround program, which includes a lot of footwork. So going to hit the books again and try to create another program that we think could be sustainable by HUD, to fund it. So those dollars are not available. And I will try to create some kind of program that I do think is sustainable by them. Any recommendations is welcomed.
Lisa, more or less, what was the percentage of businesses that didn't have any social media?
So
Or didn't have Facebook, or didn't have was it 20? I want to say last we did, I think it was like 20% or 21%.
I
I
have
want to
that
say.
So on the initial survey phase 1, 40% said, I'm sorry, 62% said they did not have a website.
62, okay.
It didn't specify if it was social media, but 62% said they did not have a website. And here in a few minutes, I'm going to show y'all a reel that ran last night on ABC, and it really, or KRGV, it really talked about doing business on social media and how, and it features the Greater Pharr Chamber of Commerce, which kudos to us, but lots of good information about how businesses are thriving that are using social media.
So 62% that don't have a website, this is 62% of the 1,000?
No, so the initial impact survey that went out of that 420 that PDC did, 62% did not have a survey.
Okay, so that's
A
a
website.
separate survey that the PEDC did, or?
That was the phase 1, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess I'm confused now.
We had a few. So we had a phase 1 that PDC did.
Okay.
What we're doing right now is a phase 2 to pick up on that and see what kind of resources the chamber could provide to fill the gaps of the community. What the 15 that we keep on referring to, that was a Worksafe plan. In order to do business in the city of Pharr, every business had to produce a Worksafe plan. And we can view this if y'all'd like.
Giant, call 855 Law Giant.
If you own or work for a small business, you know it's been a challenging year. The pandemic forcing all of us to change the way we work and shop.
And city leaders in one local community want to know more about that. Here's Channel 5's Christian Colon.
At Baker Cake Supply Store, the pandemic leading to not so sweet money losses.
No one knew where this was going, but as time progressed, we've been getting so many people picking up new hobbies as baking. Therefore, they come here, and we also sell containers for like the drive-by parties, so everyone coming in here and getting those material.
To survive in a pandemic, Grajeda says she offers more than just in-person shopping, adding curbside and emphasizing online.
Mondays, which is, slow for almost everyone, we'll use that and promote, if you check in, you get a 10-15% discount, or if you tag us in your purchase, you show us a picture, you get a discount. So, we try and use stuff like that, or also promote online purchasing so that, to prevent so much traffic from coming in.
With Instagram, Grajeda creates promotions, shares cake ideas, and special ingredients which lead her more than 1,000 followers to her store.
For this cake supply store, using social media has been their tool to success, and the Pharr Chamber of Commerce is urging other businesses to do the same.
Companies that are doing well do have a social media presence. So we're asking, does your company have a social media presence? Do they have access to internet? Will their business stay open in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? Then we're really wanting to fill the needs with our community.
Under phase 1 of the surveys, more than 70% of the 400 businesses surveyed said they needed federal funds or grants. So those needs, Salinas says, were addressed by the chamber. Now under phase 2, the chamber hopes to learn about business strategies, such as if they're using the internet, which Salinas says some still aren't.
Businesses are having to look at new avenues on how they conduct and sell their products. The questions that I'm getting asked are, how can you provide us the resources to learn how to engage?
After the surveying is complete by the end of the month, Salinas says they hope to address new needs. Until then, she encourages businesses to offer more than just in-person, like curbside or online platforms, especially as cases of COVID-19 increase. Christian Colon, Channel 5 News.
One example a Pharr business, and she's here, a Pharr bake shop, that has really taken social media to a whole new platform. So we will be taking her a Pharr is open sign and putting it on her front door.
So, again, I just want to clarify, because maybe I'm not understanding. Phase 1 was what?
Phase 1
Was this the 1,500, or was this the PEDC?
Phase 1 was the PDC 420 local businesses that were surveyed.
Okay.
And that gave us telling signs of 27% only had 2 weeks of funds in the bank. Another 27% or 26% had a month of money in the bank. 70% needed federal funds in order to remain open.
Okay, and what did we do with that information?
We rolled it in to what we're doing now, which is a phase 2. But we've expanded it to, does your business have social media? Do you have internet in your business? Do you have, if you have social media, or if you have a web presence, do you have a website? Do you have Facebook? Do you use Instagram? Do you have Google My Business? So we've really drilled down and then asked them questions of how many employees do you have? What's your revenue type? We've gotten very segmented on information.
So on the survey that we talked about last time, that there were 1,500, I thought that was people who had applied to reopen.
No, so the 1,500 was a Worksafe Plan. In order to do business in the city of Pharr, you had to submit a Worksafe Plan.
Okay, so they were businesses.
1,000 were businesses, 500 were contractors.
But they're still businesses. They're independent contractors.
500 were contractors building homes. So if they were seeking a work permit, and let's use Domit Construction as an example, and he had 10 projects, his name would have come up 10 times, and his one. So there's a lot of duplication.
So the 1,500, there was duplicates in there.
There was.
So there was only 1,000.
No. Of the 500 of contractors, I don't know how many duplicates there are. I haven't narrowed it down.
Out of the 1,500, how many were businesses?
1,000.
1,000. So those 1,000, that was one project. And then this phase 1 with the EDC, that were 420, those were all businesses?
Those were all businesses.
And so are there duplicates from the 1,000 and the 420, or are they completely different businesses?
There could be duplicates.
Okay, so it's not, you got the same people, but not the same reason for getting them.
Absolutely.
One was for returning back to work to reopen, and the other one was, we just want to know.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with the one you want to know in phase 1, you were told that out of the 450, 262% did not have any website, is that correct?
Yes.
And so what are we doing to address that? Is that our job, or is that the city's job to do something with that?
So we've rolled it into phase 2 because since then, we've also had a few months lapse. So we've had 6 months lapse. And a lot of these businesses have either closed, and we've asked them, have you closed? They've had to come to grips with either they're going to sustain or not. So they've had to learn how to do social media. So they could have, over the last 6 months, created a website and so forth. So we're in a phase 2. 6 months is a long time. COVID has done a lot to a lot of businesses. So phase 2 will tell us more information.
So from the 420, right, those are the ones you're going into phase 2. Is that where you only got 21 responses, or was that in the 1,000?
That's in the 1,000.
In the 1,000, you only got 21 responses. So how are we responding to phase 2? How are we getting those 420? How are we reaching out to them?
We're also including them in the 1,000.
So now you have 1,400? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're all in the same.
Because they're some of the same people,
Yes.
right? Okay, so how are we scrubbing that list to make sure we're not duplicating efforts? I guess I'm just trying to figure out, because now there's 2, right? There's 2 lists, the PDC one and then this 1,000 one, right? And you're saying some of the ones, they could be the same people. So we need to maybe scrub a list and then make sure it's only one and then direct it to it, right? Because I remember at the last meeting, everybody seemed to think everybody was linked up on social media, or they all had internet, right? Because that's the only way. And now we're finding out that 62% of the businesses here in Pharr that were part of the 1,000 don't have it, right? That's what you're telling me?
So
Or out
no,
of the
they don't
21?
have a website, but I also attached in one of the emails to you, I pulled Nielsen for 78577, and 90% of everybody in the 78577 have internet. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have a website, but they just don't have, that they don't have internet, they just don't have a website.
So they may have the infrastructure.
Yes.
Lisa, so the city is like suggesting that these businesses have a website and social media, or just social media, or both, or what are they suggesting?
Any on-site platform, and what that is, it could be Instagram, Google My Business, Facebook, it could be a website. We just think that everybody should have an on-site platform.
So then, you're saying that what we're doing through the chamber is we're enabling them, or we're teaching them, and we're supporting them to develop a website, or is that the city's doing?
We're providing them the resources as a chamber to do that. So here in the last 2 weeks, in the last month, we have had a boot camp for social media that we made available to everybody. We have also partnered up with the Small Business Development Corporation of UTRGV, and they had a boot camp as well that we made available to everybody that's either a member or not a member. So we're making all the resources available to anybody.
And how are we tracking those resources that they're being used?
I don't know if we have a good enough plan and process right now to track them, and we're working on those efforts. In the last 10 days, we've migrated over to a new system, and it's going to be a better system to enable us to show us how many people open and accept our invitations. So I can go in there and see if you've opened our invitation and
So-
accepted.
Didn't we have something about social media, like a seminar or webinar or something? And
We
so
did.
how many people signed up for that?
We had 41 people. It was a link, so with that link, it doesn't tell me how many people watched it. Similar to our viewing of the Christmas tree last night, we sent out a link, but it doesn't tell us how many people watched it.
If you do it on Facebook Live, I'm pretty sure you do get that amount. And also, if you call the small business, because they worked with all the other chambers, I know, they actually have a count. So maybe we can just work with them and see what count they have, because that effort with UTRGB and the small business organization was with 4 other chambers. So if we can't, I think we can reach out to them and ask them how they're tracking, so we can make sure that we have some sort of report for the next meeting.
We can, and they've
Yeah.
been a great resource.
They have.
They have, and they have federal funds. They have federal funds that they can make available to our Pharr businesses as well.
Excellent.
I think, Lisa, some of these businesses probably don't have websites because there is a cost for a website. Social media is free. Facebook is free. So I guess it's just somebody teaching them how to do that. But, I think that's as far as that percentage that we're getting of the 62. I don't know if, I strongly believe that 62% might be smaller than that, because, Facebook, I think everybody has Facebook.
Yeah, I think the
that.
question specifically was asked, do you have a website? And I think the vast majority would probably say, I don't have a website, but I have a Facebook, so it didn't further clarify. So most small businesses do have a Facebook,
Right,
but they don't have a website.
right.
So again, I just want to repeat myself that, so we're enabling them to help them out with social media. So we're out there going to all 1,000 businesses. So the 2 of you will be doing that? Are you going to split it up with 1,000 businesses?
So we have migrated over the last 10 days to what's called Event Blank, Glue Up. And what that does, it allows us to send, so our seminar for the social media boot camp, it allows us to send that seminar free of charge
To all.
for them to watch it. I do know of a local vocational school that I invited. They had their whole business class watch our seminar, and they sent me a nice note and gave us kudos for great content. They thought that it was very informational, and they gave us a lot of props for hosting it for them.
Excellent. Do you have any more information you wanted to discuss on the,
So at the end of this phase 2, what's next?
Phase 2, once we have some data, we can go back and create a scalable program where we can either build a library of resources, continue our partnership with the Small Business Development Corporation, maybe apply for some federal funds for our small businesses, really create some programs to help. I don't know if we can build websites for 1,000 businesses, but create some programs that are more scalable. I know we can probably help 100 businesses, but 1,000 doesn't seem scalable.
great.
I,
Any-
I do
go
have
ahead, Ms. Cons-
one concern. I'm just, it sounds like, I don't know, I'm just concerned, I don't know what the rest of the board members feel like, but that we're just focused too much on one topic.
Yep.
I feel like we're just focused on, and it's a question, do we want to be focused on that? Just setting up their social media, their website. I'm wondering how much of a impact will it have right now when they need it? They need it immediately. And I start thinking, okay, what other things might they need urgently? And I agree, long-term social media is a must, and website is a must. But as of short-term, I mean, are we asking them, did you apply for a PPP loan? Can we help you in the PPP loan forgiveness? Lots of businesses don't know how to apply for that, don't know how to apply for the forgiveness. Will they have to then repay the loan? How are they doing with their employees? How are they doing with their payroll? Have they lost people? Do they need to look for people? So I don't know what you guys think. I'm just worried that all of our time is spent on this one single topic, and our mission should be to help businesses, but not by us telling them what they need to do. It's also by listening. What are your urgent needs? And they vary. Even if we show an older gentleman who's had a restaurant for 30 years, we show him how to set up his website or his social media, he might have other issues that are more urgent than that. And who knows? It sounds like we have phase 1, phase 2, there might be phase 3. How long will this take? Will we be doing that till the spring and the summer, and will it be too late for them? I mean, there might be some resources that they need right away. I just don't want us to focus on one topic.
Right. I know the city of Pharr and Pharr EDC had a program for the business already. They actually had a PPE, and they had a relief fairs that were taking place, and a lot of the businesses that were from Pharr were able to utilize that. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Those efforts have been done. I know that they, and also EDC had additional fund money that was provided for businesses, and we did see that the people that were pertaining to go to those maybe didn't have that social media request. They had to pay their employees. So as part of a chamber, though, part of our responsibility is exactly what's being displayed right now, which is programs that will enhance promote the entire city businesses. So I think this program, those signs that are being presented fall well into where we're at, exactly with what the chamber is supposed to do, which is bring awareness, because the city does their part. That's why I was trying to figure out, are they providing staff to do all these other things? Because the chamber's point is to ensure that we are a resource center, exactly what is being provided right now, whether it's UTRGV, small business. So maybe we're not in the world of actually providing loans, because that's something else, but that's a good discussion that we need to do as a board. And I feel that it's time for us to have some sort of workshop, at our chamber location that was provided by the city, so we can discuss those.
I agree.
And that's a great question, though, and we're trying to listen as a, I know that when I spoke to Mario and we talked about like what's important, and when we came up with the seminar series, Our next one is on 12/8, and it's going to discuss really healthcare and the flu season amongst a pandemic, because we have flu season coming in, and a local doctor is going to really talk to business owners. And here in the next few days, we're going to send out if you'd like to ask the doctor any questions. So we'll have pre-prepared questions for her, things that people want to ask. Because the biggest question right now is turnover. People are concerned that turnover is affecting their business because employees are having to stay home with their young ones because they're sick, and then employees are getting sick with COVID, and it's not a good situation right now with employees in the workforce. So that's our next topic, and then open to discuss next topics. As business owners, y'all are probably the best to bring these next topics to the table.
Well, another question that arises is we're promoting presence online. How is our website? How are we doing ourselves? How is our website? How's our social media? Do we have all of these resources? Like Mario mentioned, okay, we're focusing on social media, and there are some seminars or workshops, or we can lead them to, hey, you want to know about the CARES Act? Here's where you go and check this out. Are you now in the process of applying for your forgiveness? Here's where you go. Is it clear on our website where all of those things, if I as a business owner go and check, will they be able to see where they can check all of that?
Yeah,
Are you the contact? Will they call the chamber and talk to someone that will say, oh, this is where you go and check this website for information? We don't do it. We're not in the business of doing loans, but we can direct you to it. Do we have that in place?
No. Right now, our website needs probably some tweaking. It doesn't probably. It needs a lot of tweaking. Our Facebook has been cleaned up here, and it had been shut down a few months. We've got it back and going, and we've gotten a ton of engagement, and I'd like to give you more than just a ton. I'd like to send you stats with how many new followers we have, how many new shares, how many engagements we have. So I will send you a full report, and then we're going to work on our website so that when you get somebody that calls you, you can send them straight over to our website, and it have all the information as a resource. But when it comes to all of the UTRGV, we have been sharing out all the resources and our live streams, and I see people sharing them. So thank you so much for all of that. I've been seeing all of the engagement on our social media, so thank y'all for all that y'all been supporting us, but it is a work in progress.
Yeah, if we haven't, I don't know what you all think, but I think it's crucial that the website then be a point where people, businesses, our members, because we already have members, can go and say, yeah, I'm glad I signed up in the beginning of the year when we were first recruiting members, because they were, the chamber was helpful during this time. Right. And then lastly, I don't know what y'all think, but I was going to suggest maybe a weekly meeting, a weekly email, a report, very small. It can be an email just letting us know. It just feels like now it's we meet once a month, and that's when we talk about these topics. It'd be nice to hear, you know what, we were in this, there was this, or there's going to be an ad or a segment on the news for us to watch. We called this amount of people, we got this amount, so that when we come to the meeting, we're more aware each week of what has been happening. And little things that we can do so that we're also participating more. Whereas this way, it just feels like we're here commenting or checking on the work that was done once a month.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, and one thing that's really important is that we also, we're a chamber, we're also a new chamber, but there's the chambers are all working together by providing this amid pandemic issues. There's actual toolkits that are available. RGB Partnership, I know, has one as well. So sometimes it's worth it. We're not copying anything, but why are we reinventing the wheel? You're exactly right. We have those things that are available that I know for a fact you can go ahead and direct yourself to ensure that our website will be stronger. Now, what you said monthly, I think it's really important. I know that the city does updates, and I'll give a prime example. And again, I'm not talking about, I'm saying how can we enhance our chamber. Westaco has a city update they do weekly. I'm not saying that the city of Pharr has to do one, but they do a city update that is allowed for chamber members. And they also have like a little Zoom talk in the Edinburgh with people about pandemic and what's going on, and plasma donation, again, to members. So, that's why it's important for us that if you're a member of the Pharr Chamber, that's the benefit. That's why you're paying your dues. So during these 6 months that we're doing this free trial, that's when we have to engage them, because afterwards you're going to come back and you're going to tell them, okay, now you need to be part of the membership. That's where I see we're going to actually have to work twice. So in order for us to do so, if we do our website, that we can have them direct toward toolkit, then that'll help us out with that transition. So you're absolutely, I'm with you 100%. We all need to provide any information that we have to Lisa to include in there, and we can all evaluate. We can't throw all the information there because some of the information might not be available, and we'll use the City of Pharr's resources as well, that they have, so that we can put their information, when they have topics of discussion. So that's a good point, Alma. I appreciate your input.
Well, we get this, like, on another committee that I serve, every week on Friday, we get just an email from our ED or executive director saying, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and it's not a long letter, but at least we stay in touch, right? I agree that, it's still new, you're new, your team is new, and so I think it would be best to do that. And I do think that, doing these projects, that seems like that's all we're focused in, we haven't focused on bringing in new businesses, and this vaccine is coming here, and we're doing the homework for the city, right? We're doing all this, and I think that we need to get to a stopping point, and what are we gonna do with that information, right, for us? Not for the city, but for us, right? And so I think you need to make sure that you finish this, because it's been directed to you, and that we move on with having to get new, because that's how we're gonna survive, is getting new customers. We're doing a bunch of research, and that doesn't help the chamber, right? And I agree with Mario, all the other chambers have something posted on their website, but this project is taking you away from updating our website, right? And that's why I'm asking, when is this gonna be done? Because that way we can get back to updating our website, our Facebook, being in touch with those businesses. And I think that's pretty much what we're all saying, right, is let's get back to the business of chamber.
So, and I do want to, and I thank you for the feedback, but over the last 30 days, just to bring y'all up to speed, the chamber has collected $40,000 that was outstanding. We had $12,000 that was outstanding from PDC, for $11,000 from hotel and motel, $7,000 that was not invoiced for memberships, another $8,000 for outstanding memberships, and yesterday we received another $7,500 that wasn't charged last year. So we have still been making traction, and over the last 30 days we've gotten 7 new members. So we're still out there doing chamber work and still trying to complete the work that's been tasked to us. But we've been very busy. Very, very, very busy.
I think that resubmitting invoices does really help out, and touch bases with those companies are important, and that's also great. But I'm with Sonia on the fact that, we did have events that are happening, virtual ribbon cuttings. We just need to be made aware of. I know that we've already discussed where you told us some of us were omitted from due to a transition on emails for a past event. That's important. That's important for us as board members to attend. I know Alma had an event at her property there next door.
We didn't know.
I
And
didn't know.
yeah.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I was actually invited by our housing authority director, which he called me and he invited me to my own event. So that was interesting. But I'm glad that that's being rectified, and now you told us that during the transition, some emails were not there, so now we do have them.
We have 4.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe the 4 were the 4 that should have probably been the persons that should have been there.
I think
so. That sometimes it helps out that we call or
But
text.
I'm not understanding, why didn't we get that email?
In the migration to Event Bank, it inadvertently kept off a few names. When we opened it, It looked as if they had transitioned, and when we went name by name, it hadn't been done. So we've gone in there, re-scrubbed it, and ensured that everybody is in there. And Marcela has taken on, she's going to 100% be overseeing Event Bank. And it looks as if we've got it under control. And I wholeheartedly apologize for the transition. And that's what it was the migration.
And just sometimes we do have, ways we can relay each other, like through different venues, like What's Up? We had one with the chamber diplomats here, but before we were also, it could be, not everybody uses it, I understand that. I rarely check on it, and now I'm trying my best to check on it, because that's sometimes how I get communications that we're having events. So we do understand, we're all busy. So, I've sent out emails thinking that I included everybody in there, and I did not. So I'm now sending an additional text or a calendar invite, because I get 20 calendar invites for tomorrow. I'm going to say yes to all of them, not knowing if I'm going to go to all of them. So, it's also, important for us to
Just make sure
stay
that-
with schedules.
That it can download to our calendar, we accept, right? That's the way it is with everybody, and I'm not sure why we would be any different.
Because
the first thing the mayor said, how come you weren't there? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Where? Right? And so we need to make sure that system is working,
I may apologize ahead of time that until we get it down 100%, you may get duplications, because we would hate to ever have it where y'all aren't
Okay.
included in something. And we don't want to merge to it 100% until we have it down.
Excellent.
There should also be a chamber calendar where it's Monday and we go in and we check, hey, what events do we have this week? You know? So that we don't have to check hours in case we said yes or no to one in particular.
That's a good idea.
Just have a chamber calendar, and I know that before the pandemic, that was useful. I mean, we would check it, there's a groundbreaking on Thursday, I'll go to that one, but I can't make the other one. Just you see it in advance.
It's a good idea.
Probably.
Excellent. Any questions, anything else? I know that you had the introduction of a new membership manager.
I would like to introduce you, Marcela. Would you like to come and say something? This is Marcela Bias, and she's not new to Pharr. She's our new membership manager.
Hi. I'm
Hello.
new. Yeah, this is my
Hello.
second week. I'm happy to be here. It's good to start working with a newish team. We're trying to get new programs. We're working very well together. I have been going out and visiting businesses. We have been scheduling ribbon cuttings. We just had one yesterday. We're having another one next week. We just need to solidify it. We're going to different businesses to drop off the decals, and we're just trying to make a lot of contact. But it does take a little bit of time, and we just need to get a little better organized so that we can divide and conquer better.
Marcela, do you have that list of the 1,000 businesses and the
Yes,
one
I
from
do.
the PEDC for the 420 businesses?
Yes, I
And
do.
Are you using that as a call list, or what is it that you
Yes,
do?
I am.
Okay. And so maybe you can provide us the list for the next meeting, and we can see how many of those businesses you've gotten to call and what the responses were. Because, they may say, not this year, wait till next year, but we'd like to know, and we'd like to show, hey, this is what you've done, right?
Yes.
And so if you could create just a little spreadsheet of those businesses and the contact person,
Yeah.
and what kind of business it is, and when the last date of contact was, and yes or no, are they going to join the chamber?
Also, what we're doing is we're telling the businesses that it's a 180-day kind of free trial, but we do take their information, we sign them up, and we're letting them know that we're going to invoice them at the end of April of next year. So it's kind of a trial period, but we are getting all their details and, kind of keeping them on our radar so that we can invoice them.
Yeah.
If they reject the invoice, then, we know they're not interested for the full
And I
year
think there
commitment.
has to
but-
be some value, right? I
Definitely.
think if you go to our website now, there's not much there, right? And so what is the value that we give to that business, right? Other
Right.
than this sign, right?
Yeah.
So that they can subscribe for the rest of the year, right? And what is that fee gonna be? Or are we gonna do 1 year from there to there? So I think we need to iron out all those details, right? And then I would, probably wait until the beginning of the year, right? Because businesses are busy, and then it's Christmas time, and so you're the last thought on their mind, right? But it may be something that you start with in January, or if you have time now, right? But that's why I want to get this project thing going and getting it off our table so we can start focusing in on growing our membership, right? That's important. But besides bringing them in, we have to have something that gives value back to that business, right? And at that level, what is it at each of those levels, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And so at the,
I'm sorry, and we did have a strategic workshop specifically that we all sat in, and we gave our input on what the benefits were of being a chamber member. So we need to look at that as well, because the chamber as a board did provide that marketing strategy. So with this new strategy of the free days at 180 days, you can't tell somebody January, hey, you have 180 days, because that's, we're never going to get members,
Right.
Free is great, but, and again, where the other chambers are functioning, they are providing them with delayed payments, credit card payments, things we discussed in the strategic workshop that are in there that stated that we can have a credit card where we can pay monthly and break down those payments throughout the year. So those have to be input. Aside now that we're dealing with this city project with the survey and the city free membership, we got to make sure that we work really hard to all of us to ensure that we support this effort, because once it's going to start where they're going to be charged, they're going to expect that value, where it's an email blast or the things that we discussed. So
just to reiterate, the Glue Up program is not only like an email database. It's a program, it's an all-inclusive software that chambers use. A lot of chambers utilize it. And so what it does is it creates a platform where you can send out newsletters, you can do campaigns, you can actually work with, you can create events where you include ticket prices and you keep track of your memberships and all of that. And so that's where that program is going to come in very handy, because it has the capability to do credit cards and to separate payments and to do payment plans and things like that. And
Excellent.
so it does invoicing and everything. So I'm just getting really submerged into that program so I can, utilize it to the best of it. Yeah,
great,
to my
thank you so
ability.
much.
Thank you, and welcome back.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
I have
Jose,
a
you had?
couple of questions.
Go ahead.
So for those that are members, either one, for those that are members that paid, obviously, is there any additional incentive they have because they have actually paid their due over the ones that are coming in for free? That way we can retain, I'm thinking more about if I were to be them, so, well, I'm getting it for free.
It's really for new members. And so everybody that we're talking to, we've told them, and we've put a disclaimer on there that it's only available from November 30th to April 30th. So there's no starting on April 30th and taking it on to the end of the year. So there's a disclaimer there. And then there's a disclaimer that it's only for new Pharr businesses.
Okay.
Right.
New Pharr businesses to the chamber.
Right. The question is, the people that are members now,
Right.
is there an additional incentive that's
because
providing
they're
them
not
with a
new.
benefit?
Because they're not new, that's it.
They're not
Okay.
new.
So
Okay.
then we need to maybe do a retention program based on the people that are members now, and see how we can make sure that either we give them a free email blast with information about their service. I would take a Zoom, not a Zoom, I'm sorry. I would take a little iPhone and do a quick, going up to the business and saying, hey, these are different service lines that we're doing. There is a lot of different things that maybe we can do to our present businesses,
Right.
because that's what the chamber does. It retains.
So one of the ideas that I had, and I emailed both yourself, Mario, and Sonia, to discuss a 12 days of Christmas, but we have some of our members that are on the high giving, And I wanted to talk about 12 Days of Christmas, and there was an example I wanted to use. Recently, a girlfriend of mine posted that her 2 children went to go open up a bank account, and the young lady that helped them spoke to them about opening up a bank, walked them up to the counter, and talked to them about financial responsibility. And I thought about how fun would it be about featuring a story on that particular employee who also happens to be a chamber member, and featuring it as one of our 12 Days of Christmas. And then I know that there's stories across the board. L&F Distributors, who's also a member, they, I'm sure, have a 12 Days of Christmas story. I really think that we could do a nice little story for a few of our members.
Sure.
And
That's done through the ambassadors, and that's what they do is a customer service award. And on those 12 days that you discussed, I was all for making sure that then we should have our ambassadors come together and do so, even if it's virtually through Zoom. But those are efforts that already are in place, that we need to do along with what the other chambers are doing as well. So.
No, but none of the ambassadors showed up to the tree lighting yesterday. It was just Jose and myself that from the board and you, but none of the ambassadors were there. I don't know if they were invited.
I think it was a virtual thing that the city had provided because of social distancing. There were just going to be minimal people, from my understanding, because it was going to be televised. A lot of people are viewing us, and everything that we do. And we're all learning. We're all learning through this pandemic, But one thing to do is actually exactly what Sonia said. How are we going to communicate to the ambassadors? Like, hey, there is something going on. We just got to improve on our communication all around.
we have already started engaging with them. We reached out this week, and we let them know just to say hi. We want to start engaging with you. We have more to follow. We're starting up the ambassador program, and we will be reaching out with more information on and events to follow.
So I think for the next meeting, we need to see a list of all of our current members and then a list of all the ambassadors so that we start to understand where we're at now and where we want to get to, right?
Excellent.
So, and if you can include on that list for the members, what level they're at and when their membership expires, so we understand when we need to bill again and what are we doing, and maybe contact some of them to see how they're doing.
I can probably
Excellent.
provide that to you by end of week. We have it up to date.
Okay. And
Thank
the
you.
ambassadors.
And it will be good also to have a status on the website itself as well.
Right.
As far as the content, something that's going to be
And
there.
wish them at least a Merry Christmas. Send them a card, right, a Christmas card, thanking them for their business and for their continued investment in Pharr. And that we look forward to them for next year, something make them feel good, that because they are members. I don't think they're being touched right now, because we're so busy touching this other list, doing things for that I'm not sure we're touching the members that we already have on our books.
Please remind me, how many members do we have right now?
So we had 49 when I first started. We have an additional 7, so that would make us 56.
Okay. I don't see why we can't send actual cards.
Yeah.
Not
can
just
send cards.
not digital, but actual cards. It's a lot more
Actual,
personable.
yeah.
Actual card.
You can even do digital. Now you can do digital signage.
Right.
Excellent. That,
Send it to
doing
the-
both would be
Send
great.
it to the actual owner of the business, because
Yeah.
they're the ones that sign the check and say, yes, renew my membership.
Excellent. Those are excellent ideas. That's excellent. And I do want to make sure that we thank the city of Pharr for providing us with the support on, like for yesterday, we had their media team, and also for providing us with today's meeting, a place to have a meeting. They, just so you know, yesterday there was 181 views that saw that virtual ribbon cutting. So some of the other locations are doing that. When you would only have 6 people show up to a ribbon cutting, sometimes because of time, 181 really helps out. So, I appreciate that support for us for today. And does anybody have any other questions before we finish and adjourn this meeting?
I just want to thank Jose. He did an excellent job yesterday, since you
Excellent.
weren't there to do the presentation for the ribbon cutting for the food trucks and for the park. You would thought he was running for city commissioner or something.
Excellent.
He did a real good job.
Excellent. Yeah, I was told that the schedule had changed, and I was initially on the agenda, and then they changed it that we were just going to do ribbon cutting. So I had given up an event to go to this one. So I said, oh, okay, then if it's just a ribbon cutting, then, I apologize since it was virtual. But
He represented you very
excellent.
well.
Jose, congratulations. You're now our new spokesperson.
You did a great job.
Thank you, and we thank the City of Pharr for inviting us to their event yesterday evening. With that, do I hear a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
There's a motion by Sonia. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jose. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Is
Meeting
this
is
a
adjourned
Christmas
at
present or what?
1:03 p.m.